This is Michael Jingozian, Libertarian candidate for president. Recently, I spoke at the World Trade Center in Portland, Oregon. Here are a few excerpts from the speech which might help explain why I'm willing to sacrifice all my time and money, time playing with my kids on Saturday mornings, and building my business, for living out of a suitcase and standing in long lines at airport security, for something most people think is crazy. But my libertarian principles force me to take action. I have to do something when the middle class is being downsized out of existence. The opportunity to move into and out of the collapsing middle class has gone the way of our once flourishing factories and family farms. I have to do something when years after the largest terrorist attack in U.S. history, the Democrats and Republicans have failed to bring the terrorists to justice. Instead, they surrendered our freedoms without even reading the 1,000-plus page bill, just because it was labeled the Patriot Act. I have to do something when our sons and daughters are sacrificed in a war that only benefits the oil companies, political insiders, and the industrial military complex. And I have to do something when politicians falsely name legislation just to get it passed. It's a good thing Congress has decided to address the most pressing issue facing our country before its 12-day vacation, the baseball steroid scandal. My friends, we need to reset America. There are good people all over this country. The majority of Americans are good, honest, hardworking people. But you wouldn't know it by looking at who represents us in Washington. We need to reset America's foreign policy to achieve the safety and comfort that only comes from living in a peaceful world. We need to remove all our combat forces and occupational forces from Iraq. We've done enough. It's time for the Iraqi people to step up and solve their own problems without our interference. We need to reset America's economy so that our children can live rich lives and so that those that have been hurt most by the inflation tax, the elderly, are taken care of. Now, I don't want to see people sick and hungry, but just throwing money at our problems is not going to do anyone any good when we collapse under our own debt. We need to reset America's commitment to individual liberty by ensuring privacy and personal security, especially in the information age. By repealing the national ID card, an RFID chip that will be planted in your driver's license next year and store and transmit personal information to any terrorist hacker or government agency. Now, I don't have the answers to every question. My business is successful not because I have the answers, but because I know how to ask the right questions to the right people. I don't claim to know everything that's wrong with a $3 trillion budget, but I do know the solution to our economic troubles lies not in sending more of our money to the Washington swamp. Our money should stay at home, at our dinner tables, giving our children the opportunity of a quality education and taking care of our own health. I do know that once we eliminate the inflation tax and replace it with a dollar dividend, that savings will make sense in America again. I do know that once we remove the red tape which ties the hands of our small business owners, we can enjoy the economic abundance that comes when every one of us has the choices and opportunities created in an open free marketplace. I don't know every aspect of military tactics, but I do know our soldiers and generals deserve a commander-in-chief who's at least a little concerned that troop morale is the lowest in U.S. history, and more of our soldiers die of suicide than die in the Iraq War. We need to reset America's foreign policy, and with your help, we can. I do know that something's wrong when I'd be thrown in jail for life for following the same accounting practices that Congress uses in determining the debt. And I know something else too. I know there are valid solutions to the many problems faced by us in this country, many of which cost nothing to implement. But like you, I also know that these solutions are not in the best interest of the Democrats and Republicans who profit by the status quo and are only concerned with one thing, and that's getting reelected. Now, we may not have much political experience. I admit, I don't have experience speaking out of both sides of my mouth. Don't have experience avoiding issues or pointing fingers. Maybe giving the finger, but not pointing it. But I do have the experience of a father who hopes his children never see war. Now, I've looked into my children's eyes. I've pondered their features, like many of you have. We have opportunities now to use our strength to foster peace. We have opportunities now to deal with healthcare and education and immigration, not through legislation or increased government spending, but through sound libertarian principles and common sense market-driven solutions. I first joined the Libertarian Party in 1980. I was excited about the Harry Brown campaign. I'm excited now about the unique opportunities that we have in this election to reset our party and our nation's future. We cannot afford to let another election pass using the same old tactics. We need a multimedia campaign that utilizes the full potential of the internet and attracts the youth of the Ron Paul revolution. We need to grow the Libertarian Party. We need leaders who will remain in the party after the election to help other worthy candidates. Jingozian for President campaign is very proud of the work that we've done in fundraising, in creating a documentary to help states secure ballot access, to give voters a real choice for real change. We have a real plan to get 5 to 7% of the popular vote in this country and win the delegates from the state of Oregon. And on election night, November 2nd, among the red and blue states, we hope to have a white state. This is a year we can really make a positive change in this nation. Now, for the first time in history, we have a real opportunity to create that political change that our forefathers gave their lives to provide to us. Now, as Ben Franklin said, change can only come from one direction, outside. Please make your vote count. Vote Libertarian. Vote Michael Jingozian for president. Thank you very much.
We should all do whatever we can to change the system. I'm dedicating my life to empowering people to take control of their future. But it's up to you. We must take control now while there are still solutions available to us and before these problems get worse. We have a great organization. We have a great message and a great team. And we have a real plan to get 5 to 10% of the popular vote in November and win the delegates from the states of Oregon and Alaska. There are many good people out there, just like you, who want to serve government but not sell out as a Democrat or Republican. By just getting 5 to 10% of the vote, we'll open up the floodgates to attract more intelligent and legitimate candidates for the House and Senate. But first, we need to win the Libertarian nomination on Memorial Day weekend in May. If you're a Libertarian, a Ron Paul supporter, or just a fellow patriot who wants to fight to protect our freedom and democracy, then join us in Denver. You'll have a great time and you'll make a big difference. Also be sure to join the Libertarian Party, which you can do from our website. But right now, I want you to do what's right. I'm asking you to stop doing whatever it is you're doing and forward this message to all your friends right now. Sure, we'd love a contribution, but only if you can afford to make one. At a bare minimum, forward this message to everyone you know right now. There's going to be a revolution, but if we act now, we can make it a peaceful one.